Hi guys, I want to walk you through finding the greatest common factor and least common multiple of a set of numbers using specifically the cake method in this example. So the cake method is my personal favorite. I know I've told you guys that before. And the reason why is because I find that it's really simple to find both the greatest common factor and least common multiple with just a few extra steps. So we start off by putting our numbers in a little tier, just like this. So this will be one layer of our cake. And on the outside, we want to think about a common factor that goes into both of those numbers. So for example, I can use my divisibility rules, and I know that 2 goes into both 12 and 18 since they both end in even numbers. And from there, right below, I'm actually going to do the division to get what number remains. So 12 divided by 2 is going to give me 6, and 18 divided by 2 is going to leave me with a 9. And if these have a common factor, I'm going to make an additional tier. So I think about 6 and I think about 9 and I think, do they have a common factor? I know 6 is even, but 9 is not. Let's think about 3. I know 3 goes into 6 and 3 also goes into 9, so they do have a common factor of 3. I want to remind you guys, if you ever don't know if something has a common factor, feel free to use your multiplication chart. Also, feel free to use a calculator. So if you're not sure if 2 goes into 9, do 9 divided by 2 on your calculator. And if you get an even number, it is divisible by it. It is a factor. If not, it's not. And you would get, if you divided that, you would get 4.5, which would show you it is not a factor. So in this case, I follow the same process. How many times does 3 go into 6? It goes in 2 times. How many times does 3 go into 9? It goes in 3 times. And I'm left with these numbers on the bottom. Now, a little hint for you is anytime you're left with a prime number on the bottom, it means you're not going to have another tier because you won't have common factors since prime numbers only have the factors of 1 in itself. So 2 and 3 are both prime. There's nothing else that goes in there. So now all I have to do is put some of these numbers together for my greatest common factor and least common multiple. So your vertical column, remember that's the one that goes up and down, is what we use for our GCF. So what I like to do, because it helps me remember, is I always draw a G around the vertical column because that is what I multiply to get my greatest common factor. So in this case, I would multiply the 2 and the 3, which are the two numbers in the vertical column, and I would get 6 as the greatest common factor. And then to find your least common multiple, you make an L, so you go around the vertical and horizontal column. I always make an L so you guys can remember that's your least common multiple. And same thing, you're just going to multiply all those numbers together. So we do 2 times 3 times 2 times 3. And remember, use your calculator as a resource if you need it. I know 2 times 3 is 6. I know 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 6 is going to give me 36. And 36 is going to be my least common multiple. There is an example of finding greatest common factor and least common multiple using the cake method, my personal favorite.